month of Kartika is associated with Vrindavan and the worship of Radha and Krishna. And as I said, we can sing these songs, and I remember Govindamar singing Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. And he was, at the end, he would sing Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. He was singing like that. He won't sing like that other times in the year, but in Kartik, yeah. And what is the special time of Bhishma Panchaka? That I didn't prepare for. I don't really know so much about Bhishma Panchaka. But I know that Bhishma, he could leave this world when he wanted. He had that power, yogic power, whatever, that he could leave this world when he wanted. So he waited for the sun that's after the summer solstice, which is, I guess, or the winter solstice rather, is in December. And that's when the sun, after that day, the winter solstice, then the sun begins traveling towards the north. So he waited for that solstice in that time when the sun is traveling to the north. If you read about the chapter in the Bhagavad Gita about yoga, it talks about that. I'm just right now speculating, because then Bhishma, he's waiting, and he's lying on a bed of arrows, because when he was fighting in the battle of Kurukshetra, then there's so many arrows were flying at him, and they pierced his body, but he would not die. But he's lying on a bed of arrows. So then he asked for a pillow, and people were bringing soft pills and everything. And he said, no, not that kind of pill. So then Arjuna shot 2 arrows that crossed like this, and that part above, Bhishma could put his head, and he said, yes, this is a warrior's pill. So I don't, somebody here can look on Google and see what is Bhishma Panchaka, but if I
Yes, I found something on ISKCON Desire Tree, Maharaj.
What?
On ISKCON Desire Tree. On ISKCON Desire Tree, there's an article about this. Bhishma Panchaka.
Okay, and give me the gist of it.
Oh,
what is the gist? Panchaka is 5, so it must be 5.
Yeah, so it says that these are the last 5 days of the month of Kartika, and they are traditionally known as Bhishma Panchaka or the Vishnu Panchaka. Grandfather Bhishma fasted for these 5 days, preparing to give up his life. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is said that if one is capable, one should observe fasting from certain foodstuffs on the Bhishma Panchaka for the pleasure of the Lord. This is optional. The fast should begin by remembering Bhishma Day for the Ekadasi day and should end on the Purnima, the full moon. The Padma Puranas say that one pleases the Lord and makes spiritual advancement by such austerities. Then it continues. You want me to continue?
No, I can get the idea of what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Bhishma Panchaka, and it's at the last 5 days. Kartik to the Purnima, and that will be the last 5 days of Kartik is the Bhishma Panchaka. And if one wishes to observe some fast, so all these things, that's very nice, and it's nice to hear about that. But in the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, they weren't doing so much optional fasts. And one time somebody said to me, oh, it's Chaturmasha when we should avoid this. First month, we should avoid taking shak or spinach or leafy vegetables like spinach. And somebody said, do you observe that? I said, no, I don't observe that because a lot of the vegetables we get, we are going to beg. We are begging, and what they give us, if that vegetable is in good shape, it's not too old or wilted or anything, then we offer that. So sometimes we get a lot of spinach, and then we offer a lot of spinach. And if it's during that time of the first month of Chaturmasha, it's not that I say, oh, don't offer spinach. And then somebody said, well, don't you observe these vows of Chaturmasha? I said, no, I live in the West. And I live in the West, and it is a big enough austerity. You're doing this for austerity to please the Lord, but I'm observing austerity just by living in the West, where a lot of the foodstuffs that you can eat in India, they're not available, and the people who can cook them nicely are not available also. So I'm not necessarily in tune with all your austerities. That is, it's nice if you can observe them, but I'm engaged in what I will call temple life. I have to maintain a temple, and I don't maintain it with all the rules and regulations that people follow in India, because they can make many more things to offer to the Lord, and those things are not available here. Like, for instance, somebody can say, well, can you give me an example? Yeah, I can easily give you an example. Okra, or what they call lady's finger. It's not, when some of our Indian devotees come here, they bring okra with them, which they buy at the Indian store. That okra is delicious, but otherwise we won't see okra, because they don't sell it in the marketplace here. They don't sell it in the supermarkets. There's so many other things. Loki, what is it? Loki or Loki, or what's the Bengali name is? Bengali name is lal. That's very tasty. Nice squash. That's not available. White pumpkin, that's not available. Bitter melon is not so easily available, but we make an endeavor to get it. Green papaya, all these nice things that you can eat on Ekadasi and other days, they're not available here. So, when they start becoming available in the marketplace, then I'll observe all the fasting and stuff that they do during Kartik. This is, of course, somebody would say, this is a very weak argument. Okay, it's very weak. Next question. Srila Gurudev has expressed Srila Saraswati Thakur's conception in a diorama on the front of the Nat Mandir in Navadvip with 2 lines, Matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. I wonder, how did you get in all those diacritics in this? And in this, it's just we're reading this in WhatsApp. How did you put in all the diacritics? That's very nice.
Cut and paste, probably.
Very nice. Matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. Could you please talk about its meaning, and how can we focus and direct our attention to this finest conception? Yes. This means I can say it in these words, that the gist of this is that Guru Maharaj's divine conception, we worship that. What is Rag Marg? What is the essence of Rag Marg? We worship that, but I have heard devotees speak foolishly, like they'll say, why did you not come to the program for honoring this or doing that? And they'll say, oh, I did not feel the inspiration within my heart. And I say, yeah, but you always feel the inspiration in your heart to eat and sleep. So you don't have to worry about that inspiration. You always have inspiration in your heart to eat and sleep. You don't miss that. But why is it that you just Why is it that you don't participate in spiritual programs? Because you don't feel the natural impetus within your heart. But that is not an accurate expression of our mission or of our mood. The accurate expression of our mood is this: matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. We put what is, rag-marg, or spontaneous flow of devotion, that is worshipable by us. We don't pretend that we have attained that elevated state of consciousness, but it is a worshipable ideal for us. Srila Maharaj, he expressed that a person is known according to their ideals. So this is my ideal, the beautiful spontaneous flow of devotion. That is my ideal, and it is worshipable by me. But in the meantime, what am I doing? I'm trying to follow I'm trying to follow what Srila Gurudev has given me as my duty and as my activities. He has expressed to all of us how to engage ourselves. So we're not engaging ourselves like we're some rag-marg bhaktas who just feel, and I'm not reading Ujjvala Nilamani and all these high literatures. No, I'm not on that level. But that level is, somebody would say, well, are you on the level of Vidhi Marg, where you just mechanically follow rules and regulations? No, unfortunately not. I'm not so good at following all these rules and regulations either. So then what are you? I'm a fallen soul. That's what I am. I'm a fallen soul. I'm not a rag-marg bhakta. I'm a fallen soul, and I'm trying to serve Gurudev as well as I can. And that is my consciousness. And all these things, which are the very high stages of devotion, maybe someday by following the lotus feet of Gurudev and his instructions, maybe someday that kind of spontaneous devotion will come within my heart, and it is worshipable. That expression, that the matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange, and it used to say, it says here, matala, hari-jana. What is the original expression was with Vishai. There's an expression that later was changed by Govinda Maharaj, but the idea was that the materialistic person has the level of divine flow of kirtan and everything on his head, that he worships that. But in the meantime, we're Vishayis, we're fallen souls. That's what I expressed. But that it was rewritten. So if you like, somebody can look up what was the original expression, and then we'll look at this expression, because what is expressed here, matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. So we're engaged in kirtana-range on the level of kirtan and everything, but pujala, raga-patha, that raga-patha or rag-marg, that is worshipable by us. It is not like we pretend that we have attained that. Guru Maharaj said, devotion is not like some sweet ball that you can just throw it in your mouth and swallow it, digest it. It is not like that. It is something that you will continue ardently, diligently serving Gurudev. And many times, I can say many times, we will not be very excelling in our class, like what was the expression I was thinking of? Guru Maharaj gave explanation of that verse where it goes, Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktirat hoksajaya haitukiya pradiyat ya yatma suprasidati. Well, devotion, savai pumsam parodharmo, the highest occupation for everyone is to establish a loving relationship with the Lord. And a haitikiya pradiyata. And in that, in one service, there should not be any material motivation and should not be any interruption. But who can say that they're not materially motivated when we are still subject to the dictations of our mind? Hello, I'm saying hello to Nitai Chand and Karuna Sundari.
Hare Krishna, Dandavas,
Maharaj.
Dandavas.
So, Haitukiya Pradyatma. How will I have devotion that has no material motivation when I'm always materially motivated? Do you want to go? Do you want to go to the program at such and such person's house? Oh, yes, of course. They cook very nice. Yes, I want to go there. So, that's a material motivation. Otherwise, if the person doesn't cook so nice, I don't know. Well, yeah. So everything we do is materially motivated. And, we're going to do Harinam, but it's raining out and it's very cold. Yes, but we're going on Harinam anyway. Oh, I think today maybe, yeah. Which one is that?
That's the normal one.
Okay.
Finish it.
Okay. This is normal ginger ale, the one without sugar. The one without sugar tastes nasty, but this is good. So everything I do has some material motivation, but it says a haituki. It should not have any material motivations. Should not have any interruption. But so much of our activities are interrupted by what? By my stupid mind. That's what. My mind won't allow me to be on a steady keel. Instead, my mind is happy one day and miserable the next. And what am I going to do with this mind? I can't show it. What am I going to do with this mind? I can't sell it. And it is interrupting my service all the time. But so then, if you say a haitukiya pradyatya, how will you do service that's not materially motivated and without interruption? And Guru Maharaj says, what that means is not you're looking at yourself trying to go higher. You're looking at the plane of devotion eternally exists, and by the Lord's grace, that can descend to you. It can come to you. So it's not materially motivated because that plane of devotion is purely divine and it can descend to you. So it's not materially motivated. And what is without interruption means that it is irresistible, like a tsunami. A tsunami cannot be stopped. So I live here in Santa Cruz and I go walk by the ocean. I always see so many persons are sitting on waves. Some of the waves are very little and they ride them. But if a tsunami comes, then you don't have to worry about catching that wave. That wave will catch you. So anyway, matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. So could you please talk about this and its meaning and how can we focus and direct our attention to the finest conception? Finest connection, you continue with your service and in a service trying to serve and please Gurudev. regarding this quote, I have two questions for Srila Janardan. What does exactly mean to not encroach on the rights of others? Why are you asking me that? What does it mean not to encroach on the rights of others? That seems to me to be self-evident. My position is not to criticize others. My position is to encourage others. I'm not, we're not operating in this world of, criticism. The only person I'm supposed to criticize is myself. Could you please elaborate on the second part? It should not be such as to kill oneself, and how to make sure our humility is natural. Well, I kind of explain what it means not to encroach on the rights of others. The only one you can correct is yourself. So that should be, I hope that accommodates that answer. And could you please elaborate on the second part? It should not be such as to kill oneself, and how to make sure our humility is natural. Well, Govinda Maharaj is always talking about humility and offering respect to others and to be tolerant. So, as far as how to know one's humility is natural, I don't know, because I've seen many people that fake humility, and they offer respects to others. Like there's some game, which is a nice game, that we see sometimes the devotees in Bengal play, where they actually are kind of fighting to see who can touch the feet of the other devotee. And sometimes they're fighting and trying to prevent the person from touching their feet. But it's a nice game. I see sometimes the Bengali devotees playing that. So, but my point is, anybody can feign humility. Oh, you are the greatest. No, you are more great than myself. No, you are more great. I mean, anybody can talk like that to show humility. No, I am a fallen soul. No, I am more fallen than you. So sometimes people will fake humility, and sometimes people will offer respect in a false way to others. Oh, you are so great. You are so great. You are so wonderful, and this and that. People will talk like that, but it's not really heartfelt sometimes. If they're talking like that, and it may not be heartfelt, I'm not going to interrupt them. I might think to myself, oh, something here doesn't ring true. It doesn't sound like it's natural. But one way you can say whether it's natural or not, because Govinda Maharaj is saying Mahaprabhu's dictum, Trinadapi Sunichena, from the Sikshastikam, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Humility, offering respect to others. So I said, you can fake humility sometimes offer respect to others in an artificial way also, but you cannot fake tolerance. That's the one part we'll find out if it's really true or not. You can fake humility and you can fake offering respect to others, but you cannot fake tolerance. We'll see very, very easily, and myself included, they'll see that I'm not tolerant. Then it's very easy to see if somebody's tolerant or not. Any slight insult to them, they will become greatly offended. Why you have said that? You can go, leave. People they're very intolerant. Then they must not have so much humility, and they must not have so much respect to others, because they're intolerant. And I can say, somebody can say, are you a tolerant person? Tolerant, but I'm not so tolerant. Sometimes I can be tolerant. So how to know if it's false humility? I guess one way you could tell is if there's not any tolerance there, then it's probably not so much humility either. Although I have known some people who are humble, seemingly humble, and showed respect to others, but super intolerant.
Maharaj, in the quote, it also said, it should not be such as to kill one's own self. Could you elaborate on that, please?
The killer of the self. What's the word? Atma. Don't do actions which are going to be against your very nature of a spirit soul. You want to act in such a way that you will not be a killer of the self, means that you will not cause harm to yourself or to other living entities. So you're learning the principles of devotion, and the principles of devotion. What is, I don't know precisely what killers of the self, but I would say that when the seed of devotion is growing, because you know the verse, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiv Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lada Bij, that from by the mercy of the Lord, one gets a qualified guru, and by the mercy of the guru, one gets the seed of devotion which one plants in one's heart. And that seed of devotion is growing in the form of a creeper. And it's a tender creeper, it's growing, but it says if a mad elephant comes into that garden, then it can break this tender creeper very easily. It can destroy all the plants. So one way a killer of the self would be, to me, if we're growing that tender plant of devotion, not to engage in activities which will put me in the dangerous position of making Vaishnava aparad, because Vaishnava aparad is the activity which will kill the self. You know, you cannot survive. You cannot survive Vaishnava aparad. If you make Vaishnava aparad, you will not survive. That I can say. Now, as far as further elaboration on this, I mean, you can also say that you will be sympathetic to principles of devotion and service of Gurudev and service of the Vaishnavas. That will enable you to grow. If you are not sympathetic to those activities, you will be doing damage to yourself. So I think that for now, that's enough explanation of that. But if there's some other explanation, because I have not read the article about, I assume a lot of this is coming from the same article of explaining matala, hari-jana, kirtana-range, pujala, raga-patha, gaurava-bhange. So I don't know. Here, let me click on this link. Is there a link here? Humility means to not encroach on the rights of others, and also it should not be such as to kill one's own self. It must be natural. Srila B.R. Sridhar Maharaj. So I don't know where this quote is coming from. This must be coming from an article.
It's coming from the Gaudiya Darshan website, and it's coming from the Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 2.
Okay. So you can read the rest of the article for a better explanation. But anyway, I'm explaining it, not having read now that article, but explaining it as I can. But we're all followers of Guru Maharaj and Govinda Maharaj and the Acharyas, so you can read their article. I'm sure Guru Maharaj will explain. Sometimes I'm reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't read all the explanations, but I have read them all, and I try to explain them. But some explanations go on for 20 pages, and I won't necessarily read those explanations in the class. And for that reason, some people don't listen to my classes, because you don't read all the purports. No, I'm sorry. I consider many times the commentaries of the acharyas. I'm not saying about Guru Maharaj, but I'm saying the commentaries that go on for a long time that explain Sanatana Goswami said this and Jiva Goswami said that. And all these things are very nice, but I consider a lot of it won't go within the natural flow of the class. And why do I say that? I would say because a lot of these things are very detailed, and I've read them, but it's also like a consideration. If you were doing a doctorate's thesis on something, you would consult all the commentaries and everything, and then you would read them and digest them, and then you would go on like that. And that's a research project. But not every reading of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is a research project. So as much as possible, I will explain what is there. And if it's a purport of a page or a page and a half or half a page, like, I will read that. But if I see the purport goes on for 20 pages, I might not read that, because then I will see that, people cannot continue to stay awake. And my purpose of my reading is to follow the natural flow of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, not to tuck people into bed and kiss them goodnight. That is not the purpose of the Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. So anyway, we've come to the end of questions. No more questions? Is there a natural question that somebody has?
Yes, Maharaj, I have one question.
Okay.
You have been talking the last time and this time again about the offenses and how the elephant can destroy everything. But I want to ask you, in a personal manner, how have you avoid all of those mistakes, which I have seen so many times? We just have to read the books, and we have seen, and even now, where our guru left, so many
How have I avoided those?
What?
How have I avoided those
Yeah,
mistakes? I haven't. I haven't
offenses.
avoided any of them. What?
How have you avoided offenses that prevent you from going off the rails, let's say, all this time? What will be your advice
Oh,
that you have followed, of course?
well, it's the same advice all of you are trying to follow. You're trying to stay in the service of the Vaishnavas and be guided by Gurudev. And as much as you're successful in following his instructions and serving the Vaishnavas and ridding yourself of offense, because that's something that you do, that you're naturally doing internally and externally. You're doing both, but you have to have some resolution to be able to do that. And sometimes I have that resolution, and sometimes I'm a fallen soul. So what can I say? But I try to follow the instructions of Gurudev and try to engage myself in the service of his lotus feet. And where I listen to my mind, then at that time I go off the rail. I'm happy to be with the devotees. I don't travel for tourism, and when I'm here, I don't try and engage in tourism. I've been to many cities, and I haven't seen, in some of those cities, I haven't seen anything of the city so much, although I'd like to. Like I said, I'd like to go to Dublin. I'd like to see what's in Dublin. And, I used to read Dubliners and all that by James Joyce and so many nice things. but I'm not seeing Dublin. But I don't go to places like Ireland or England or Russia or Mexico. I don't go there as a tourist. I go, sometimes all I see is the devotees in the temple. And then sometimes somebody will take me for a ride and they'll show me, oh, this is Trafalgar Square and this and that. I saw Trafalgar Square and all that. Yeah, it was nice. I saw Nelson's monument. It's very, very, very nice. It's nice to see those things, but sometimes people ask me if I want to go to a museum. Usually not. I've been in museums and they're full of, a lot of times they're full of so many different articles that they're just overly boring. Just boring, really boring. But I mean, sometimes there's some nice things in museums. Like what? I don't know offhand. Some things are interesting. Occasionally you'll see some painting that isn't of just people going hunting. What do I care about seeing a hunting painting? Black, guacala. Anyway, Gurudev came here, he'd turn on television and sometimes he'd watch the cooking channel, and we almost thought we should censor that because it shows chopping up pieces of meat and all these things. But Gurudev had some curiosity watching some of these things, although he never is eating meat, and he saw the hunting channel, which really seemed grotesque to me. When I saw the hunting channel, they have such sophisticated rifles and sights and everything. The animal doesn't stand a chance. They can shoot the animal from a mile away and they have cross-haired sight and all that. If one of the animal friends sneaks up behind them and jumps on them and is eating them, then I'd say, serves you right. Serves you right. Gurudev told a story in that sense I've told about the Sanskrit scholar who was told and he studied and he said, Ganda means that the tiger only comes for smelling you, not to eat, but for smelling. And then he's a Sanskrit scholar, so he knows everything. And he decides the word bag, tiger, means who comes for smelling. So he's walking in the village and they tell him, don't go there, there's a man-eating tiger. And he says, he does not know that the meaning of the word tiger means one who comes for smelling. So he says, not man-eating, for coming for smelling. And then he's walking on, the tiger jumps on him and is eating him. And then he says, he does not know. Bag means comes for skanda, comes for smelling, not for eating. He's saying the tiger does not know. He's a Sanskrit scholar. Then he says, maybe the word bag means who comes for smelling and sometimes eating. So, anyway, people know everything. So the hunters go into the jungle with these sophisticated long-range rifles and sights. I'd see infrared sights and stuff. I saw that in Govinda Mars watching the hunting channel. Then I'm thinking, now if the tiger jumps on them from some branch and they don't see him, serves them right. Serves him right. You have your sophisticated rifle, but you didn't see that tiger and he jumped on you. Now he's eating you. La di da di da da. So what? We'll put on your tombstone. He came for hunting, but he wound up hunted. But anyway, Govinda Maharaj watched all these things, so. What was my point?
I was starting how to avoid the Vaishnava subjects.
All right. So is there another question? How to avoid all these offenses? I don't know. Ask me that question. I'll try to write a book. I'll write a book dedicated to Gaurachandra, who asked, how do you avoid the offenses? All right. I'm coming to the end of my tether. I'm at the end of my rope. So how's this for now? Where is that? Saraswati organized this program and she herself didn't come. What is that?
Well, she had to go to Ishanuga.
She had to get Ishanuga.
She had to go to Ishanuga's.
Ishanuga's her sister.
She doesn't have internet.
Okay, well, I don't think she'll mind me telling you, but they had someone broke in the house in the nighttime. And it was just
Ishanuga's house.
Yeah, and just she's there because David Shish was away, and
Where's David
they
Shish?
didn't touch her. They just went in and took something and left the building without. She didn't know, till the morning. But so she was a little shaken up. So Saraswati went to see her.
Okay, that makes sense. And where's Krishna Mohini?
She's here. She's on the Zoom.
She's hiding.
I think it's there.
Oh, there she is on top.
Maharaj,
Who's,
here I am.
and there's Subhasini.
Dandavats Maharaj. Nice to see.
Did you see Subhasini? In London, there's one of the ladies from Ireland is there.
Yes, yeah. She tells me, yeah. Krishna Nandini. Yes, yeah.
Krishna Nandini.
Dandavats. Dandavats.
How are you?
Who is that?
How are you doing, Subhasini?
Oh,
What's your son's name?
Srinath. Srinath.
Srinath. How is he? How
Yeah,
is
he's
he?
okay. He's good, Maharaj. Yeah.
And Kumar?
Kumar is in India right now. He's gone to India.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be back on Sunday. So.
But Srinath is at home?
Yeah, he's at home. Yes, yeah, he's here. Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you also, Maharaj. Hopefully we'll see you sometime soon here.
Yeah. When I go there, I would like to go there.
Yes, Maharaj, definitely. Yeah.
That looks like Chinmoy Day, but it's not.
It's not you.
With the
No.
beard on.
Oh,
It's looking like that, huh?
no, that's not.
Yeah.
That's Nazar. He's in Ukraine.
Okay.
Okay. My dandavats to everyone. Dandavats to you, Subhasini. Dandavats to
Maharaj.
Lavanya Mayi and Krishna Mohini.
Dandavad Maharaj.
Jai Lalita and Gaurachandra and Falguni and Nanta Govinda. Satyabhama, Nazar, Nita Chand, and Karuna Sundari.
Dandavats, all the devotees. Dandavats Maharaj. Dandavats.
And from Scotland,
Sri Krishna Das Maharaj, Dandavat.
Nita Krishna. And they just said cannot remember from 1 minute to the next.
Oh, God.
And Rasara Subhasini. What's the ladies from Ireland's name again?
Krishna Nandini. Krishna Nandini.
Krishna Nandini. Okay. Sulalita Ananga Krishna. Ananga Krishna is in Tijuana.
Where?
This program is for England, but we get whole world audience. We get Netherlands, and we get Ukraine and Tijuana, and we get Spain. Oh, Satyabhama's in Mexico too, also.
Maharaj, if I have one chance for ask one question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good sound. Maybe it's not good sound.
It sounds okay. I can hear.
Just I wanted to ask maybe some private question, and if you do some mistake in past, and maybe you do some offense to devotees, and you didn't want to do this offense, but now this devotees is very angry on you and never want to see you, or maybe if they will see you, they will fight with you. And means now you have to better avoid to go to these places, even if will be some camps, Vaishnav camps. Like now your service, like you have to pay your mistake and don't go to all these meetings with devotees, and like start and stay away from this place. And I wanted to ask this question.
You want to ask? I can understand, but you want to ask me in Spanish, and then I'll translate it. ¿Qué quieres decir? Tú dices que si has hecho un error, ¿qué se puede hacer para como hacer que las personas le perdone de ese error, o qué es?
Sí, yo ya como traté a decir my apologize. Yo traté, sí, pero es claro que no me...
I can say that there are little mistakes, big mistakes. Like one time I remember Srila Prabhupada, he was very angry with me. And the next day I was going to apologize to Srila Prabhupada and his servant, who was Tamal Krishna Swami. Tamal Krishna said, don't apologize to Prabhupada because he's not bringing it up now. And if you already apologized to him, but if you apologize to him again, he'll again become angry because he'll remember what you did and he'll become angry. It's best not to apologize again to him. So then I did not apologize to him, and Srila Prabhupada talked with me and everything was normal. So if you make some little mistake, that if somebody makes a little mistake, and then maybe in the case if that person just goes on with their activities in life, because I'm assuming that someone who makes a mistake, they've already apologized and they say, please forgive me. But if they keep on bringing up the same thing, it'll remind the person of what that person did and make the person angry. So that's maybe a small mistake. And maybe on some big mistakes or something like this, who knows? I mean, sometimes there are mistakes you like they say, there's an expression, time heals all wounds. Only if you let some time pass and everything, then that can be taken care of. That if you just go on with your life and everything. And then there are some things, some people may never forgive you. I mean, some people may never forgive me for things that I said or did to them that they took so wrongly that I will not ever see that person again, you know. And then if the person is of that mood, what can I do? I mean, so they're just different levels. I cannot give an answer that will cover all situations. Sometimes it's better not to bring up the subject and just let people go on with their life. Sometimes you can't do anything and you just have to wait for some time. Like in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, he said when Chota Haridas, 1 year had passed, and he said, 1 year had passed, and Mahaprabhu would not see the face of Chota Haridas. And then after 1 year, Mahaprabhu said, okay, you can bring Chota Haridas to me. But they said, Chota Haridas has already left, and we think he went to Prayag and he drowned himself. And then Mahaprabhu said, good, okay, that's good. You know, so who can understand? But we are not imitating the activity. We are not imitating Mahaprabhu and his divine devotees. We just go on with our life. We just go on with our life. If something happens where somebody's offended, I will try to make that person my friend and be nice to that person. But maybe I won't keep on talking about what's bothering the person. I'll just try to serve that person with kindness and be nice to the person. I cannot say too much more because that is just the answer. You just tú entiendes. No más continúan tratando uno de servir a los Vaishnavas y complacerlos, y con tiempo las personas, you know. I mean, I remember one person who really, I was trying to be nice to that person, and that person said, Maharaj, you're trying so hard to be nice to me, but you can't you understand that you're not Krishna. I don't have to like you. There's no law. You're not Krishna. I don't have to like you. So why are you trying so hard to please me? I just don't like you. So you're not Krishna. I don't have to like you. That's what somebody once said to me. And I go, okay, that's okay. But after some time, I was nice to that person. And after some time, that person became my friend. Because they saw after some time that they needed to have friendship with they needed to have some friendship, and they saw that I was relating with that person as a friend, so they became my friend. But it took, in the beginning, it was not that way. They just said, oh, I just didn't like you. So what can I say? Anyway, they said that. I thought it was a good answer. They said, you're not Krishna. They said, you're not Krishna. I don't have to like you. Oh, there's Subhadra. 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 She doesn't. Oh, Subhadra, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás, Subhadra? Bien. ¿Todo bien? Parece muy bonita esa Subhadra. Subhadra y su abuela, ¿no? Su abuela. Subhadra and her grandmother. Very nice. Krishna Mohini and her granddaughter, Subhadra. Okay, my dandavat pranams to everyone. Now time to go on. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning I'm traveling to Mexico. Okay.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Jai Srila Bhakti Prabhupada Janardan Maharaj.
Jai.
Safe travels, safe journey.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.